Welcome to Business on Top, the podcast about nothing. Shane Chernoff here, along with my very dear friend, Ben Siegel. I got Vijay Patel in the room too. He's going to be the third guy on our podcast, or the first guy, you never know. This podcast is going to be like a box of chocolates. Every day someone new is going to step up.
You never know what you're going to get.
So I thought that the best way to introduce a podcast about nothing was to talk about how it came up. I've known these two guys for a very long time, very dear, close friends of mine. But before I have to tell you that story, I got to tell you this story. Started out in college, went to the University of Florida. Go Gators. And I'm a failed broadcaster, okay? I tried to do this for a living. It was something that didn't work out well at all. I fell flat on my face. My dad told me to go to law school. I did it. It ended up working out pretty well. Along the way, I met both of these guys. I met Vijay in undergrad. I met Ben in law school, and the rest is pretty much history. In this podcast, I think we're going to do a little bit of inside stuff. You're going to hear a lot of inside jokes from us, and we'll kind of take you guys behind the curtain of what it's like when the three of us hang out. And then you're going to hear a lot about general stuff. We're just going to cover all of our bases. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about games. And if there's something that you guys want to hear about, just let us know. This is going to be a very freewheeling podcast. And I think the most important thing for us is it's just going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Vijay, what are your thoughts on how we started this up?
I want to say it started literally right after undergrad.
I feel like we've been talking about starting a podcast for years.
Years. I would say at least 3 to 4 years we've been talking about it. And it's been in the works. We never actually executed. But what was it, a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I would say 2 weeks ago
Shane
we bought the equipment.
Yeah, somehow Shane found the deal of the century with, what was it, for like $1,500?
Yeah, thank you, Rockville Audio. Rockville Audio, give us more free stuff, please.
$1,500 worth of equipment. We got
for less than that.
Yeah,
for a lot less than that.
And you said, "Tell me right now, like if you guys Venmo me $100 right now, we're ordering this and we're getting the podcast going." And
this podcast literally started on a handshake agreement. I mean, we were all sitting at the table, and I was like, "I'm in if you're
not fist bump."
Fist
was
bump.
it a fist? Oh, that one. That's right.
COVID.
It was a very virus-safe fist bump agreement. No handshakes.
Are we distancing here? Or
I
would say we're good.
I think we're doing okay.
About 6 feet.
I think we're doing all right. We've been distancing. We've been doing our part. We've kept our circle pretty tight. By the way, this episode is brought to you by Wear a Mask. Just do it, okay? I'm just going to drop that in everybody's lap, and I think,
Please.
Segment's about to fall flat, but we do want to go to some baseball games. I wonder if we could do a live podcast somewhere.
Well, before we get into that, the name of our podcast, Business on Top. What does it mean?
Yeah, Ben, tell us about how that started.
I think we were talking about it and just kind of jokingly brought it up. Just said business on top because of everyone now in quarantine has been big on Zoom and
no one's wearing pants. No one's wearing pants these days.
Yeah, by the way,
yeah. If you're in an interview, if you're interviewing someone for a position, just put them on the spot and say, stand up. I want to see if you're wearing suit pants because I bet you 90% are wearing what we're wearing right now, like sweatpants, shorts, regular shorts.
Working as a lawyer, it's very interesting to see like the different kinds of like wardrobe combinations you'll get from people. I think we had a Zoom hearing where there was an attorney that was like literally poolside, and the judge had to tell them to like get away from the pool from like the ambient noise. Working in this profession, it's very interesting how people can like be very cavalier. V, I know you've had some pretty interesting times with technical difficulties with people who you work with, trying to get used to technology and working remotely.
Well, I don't want to go into it too much, but yeah, I work in the healthcare industry, and there are a lot of people that are not used to like adapting to the new technologies. I mean, I would say like older people, baby boomers, I would say, that with the new Zoom, the new technologies, the analytics that are coming out with all these companies, like it's hard for them to like pick it up faster than we do. Millennial, I would say.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this.
Wait. Should we finish the
Business on top. Yeah, we're going off track here a little bit.
We did get off track. So the idea was that everyone's business on top, party on the bottom, and the name just kind of clicked. We tried a bunch of different things. We workshopped them all, and I think this was just kind of the one that clicked with us. And you see us here once you get the video feed. You'll know that we're dressed business on top, party on the bottom. I got my basketball shorts on. It's Friday evening. We're ready to get into the weekend. And we're doing episode 1 of this podcast. Funny story about how we started, though. We had 90% of the kit ready to go. And the headphones came in a separate shipment. I don't know if anyone else has had this issue, but these headphones that we were looking for about 3 weeks ended up shipping from New York to California before they got back to Florida. I mean, what the hell? Who do I talk to about that? Like, if I wanted to complain about that, who do I go to? Is that a USPS problem?
No, well, who was it? USPS who actually?
I have no idea. I guess I have to check the shipping.
Honestly, the fact that it went from New York to California to here, we should just be grateful that it actually showed up in the right house. Because I mean, there were a lot of destinations that we could think about. If we didn't have these headphones, we'd have to buy it. We'd have to buy it.
Did our headphones have a layover in Palm Springs?
Somebody used them in Palm Springs.
Yeah,
tested them out.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg diverted the shipment.
Oh, yeah.
But this podcast is going to focus loosely on sports. But like I said, this is going to be a podcast about nothing. We're just going to talk about whatever we want, and we're going to treat this thing like a river. We're going to take it wherever it wants to take us, and if something comes up, we're going to talk about it. And let us know if there's something that you want us to talk about. But
I think, sorry to cut you off, but I think I understood it correctly. Business on Top is also going to kind of be like how we structure our podcast, where like the first half or whatever first however many minutes is going to be a little more structured, about whatever topic we may want to talk about for that day, and then the second half will probably be a lot of tangents and stories about college in Toronto.
Trust me, yeah, Toronto, my favorite city in the world. I so very much adore that city. Trudeau, get me there if you can. I would love to. I would love to lawyer in Canada.
Business on Top podcast.
Yeah, we need a Canada correspondent. So Trudeau, if you want to come on the podcast, come on in. But today's show is going to be kind of interesting. We're still finding our voice here. There's a lot of different things that go into starting a podcast. Now we have the equipment. It's just about building the chemistry and making this feel more of a casual thing. It's hard to fill 15 minutes of content. I mean, we're 8.5 minutes in right now.
I would say it's hard. Sorry to cut you off again. But
no, you don't have to apologize. Podcasting, just go. You got a thought? Jump right in.
I don't apologize.
I take that.
Apologies rescinded.
What are you talking? I don't even remember what we're talking about. It's going to be.
We're going to talk about baseball. Don't worry, it's going to get better.
I think it's just going to be pretty much us like hanging out. I mean, after today, once we get everything audio and set up like on YouTube, it's just going to be the norm, and it's just going to be.
I remember.
Okay, all right. Continue.
So I was talking about chemistry. I think the three of us, have had chemistry for a long time, so it's not hard for us to actually just talk about stuff. So I think it became easy for us to start this up.
The interesting thing is trying to keep it clean. The interesting thing is trying to censor yourself and trying to make
demonetized before on YouTube before.
I think the biggest challenge.
You can have a shot.
I think the biggest challenge of podcasting is trying to make it interesting, but also making sure that your employers don't get too bent out of shape about what we talk about on here.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll go with sports. We'll go with movies. We'll go with shows.
A little bit of gaming.
What ifs? Just like current. No. Nothing controversial, we're not.
Oh, I'll get controversial.
Well,
you want to get controversial? I'll get controversial.
All right, well then,
It's gotta
blur my face out, remove my name from this podcast. But
Bleep me out.
yeah, no, I mean, I would say this isn't like, this.
It's not a serious podcast
geared for, probably people our age, within our age range. It's not going to be like geared for high schoolers. I mean, they can listen, but yeah. But it might not be super clean. Like
we got 13-year-olds listening in.
So let me ask you guys this, and this is something that I actually thought about on my way home. Is who would be, and this is another thing we're going to do with the podcast. We're going to try to get guests on. We want to make this interesting and go into a wide array of topics because hearing the same three people's voices, no matter how interesting they are, it's going to get a little boring. So I want to go around the room. I want to ask Ben, who is a guest, your dream guest, episode 1, who you would want to have on the podcast at some point in the future?
Realistic or like anyone in the world? So
give me a realistic one, and then give me not necessarily unrealistic because anything's possible, but give me your dream one, no matter what.
Dream? Oh man.
Do you want me to filibuster? Because I'll let you think about that one. I could filibuster for about 30 seconds. Yeah, DJ, what do you got for me?
I know the first name that comes to mind, but I would just be.
It might be the same. Right?
Yeah, I think it might be the same.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to count to 3, and then you guys are going to
wait. Let's separate it into because let's do athlete and non-athlete. Because I feel like all of us would probably want some athlete has to come.
Well, the one that you're thinking of, was it an athlete?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to count to 3, and you're going to tell me your athlete nomination, who you want to be on the show.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. I figured that one about halfway through. That's another interesting dynamic. You see, I have my orange and blue on here. Diehard Mets fan, diehard Gator fan. I got 2 Yankee fans on either side of me. Lord have mercy.
And Noel on the right.
Hey, New York though, nonetheless.
That's right.
So we're on the same team here.
The 3 sons of New Yorkers trying to make all of our parents proud, but probably doing the opposite by creating this podcast.
Well, funny thing about that is my dad's a Mets fan, huge Mets fan, and somehow I grew up loving the Yankees. So
how did you grow up in Queens and be a Yankees fan? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you know what happened was the first team I ever played for in T-ball was the Yankees, and my dad always told me that growing up in Queens, he'd support the Mets. There's some funny stories. We can get into this later, but they grew up in Jackson Heights in Queens, and they would go to so many Mets games at Shea Stadium. They literally jump over the fence and watch a game. Like that's how like the rules. Like there was no rules back then.
It was so easy to sneak into a major league game in like the 60s and 70s. Because I feel like all of our uncles have a story where it's just like we bought tickets like cash for $4 and we like walked in and like
they skip school and go to the game without a ticket. Like
we could have never done that. No. There's no way.
No.
But I ended up being a Yankee fan because I played for the Yankees in T-ball, and ever since then and then Derek Jeter, we're going to go back to that, but Derek Jeter was my idol.
I mean, mine's pretty similar, like growing up in Bayside I was also in Queens.
That's right, you're from Queens, you're a Queens Mets fan too. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, born and raised. My mom grew up right next to Shea, diehard Mets fan. My dad was a Yankees fan, my grandpa was a Yankees fan, and growing up in New York in the 90s, that was a Yankees dynasty, and I was just born, I guess, in the right place at the right time, and I just fell in love with the Yankees, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 Yankee fans on this podcast. We got a Mets fan on this podcast, but that's not the only thing we're going to talk about. That's our safety blanket. But coming up next, what do you think this major league... Coming up next, more baseball. What do you think this major league season is going to look like? We got you. Coming up, Business on Top. This episode of Business on Top is brought to you by Mima's Chimney. Mima's Chimney is an all-natural, authentic, all-purpose chimichurri sauce, locally made here. Home of our podcast, Boca Raton. Mima's Chimney can be used on almost anything. I'll tell you what, guys. I have been in quarantine for such a long time. I've been putting everything in the Instant Pot. I've been putting stuff in the slow cooker. I've been using Mima's Chimney on chicken, tofu, steak, you name it. impossible meat, salads, possibilities are endless. Vegan, keto, vegetarian friendly. It does work for any diet. I mean, my diet's not the cleanest, but I love Mima's Chimi no matter what. Even if you're eating clean, you can do it too. Mima's Chimi comes in an 8-ounce jar, and you can order it at mimaschimi.com. That's MIMASCHIMI, mimaschimi.com. Remember, guys, it's not Chimi if it's not Mima's. So, we've been in quarantine, or at least under the grip of coronavirus, for probably about 4 months now. Have you guys gotten into like any weird habits or new activities that you never would have done if not for this?
Started building Legos.
You know, that's funny that you were going to say Legos. We didn't even talk about this before the break. Did you guys realize how expensive Legos are these days?
I guess I should correct myself. I didn't buy Legos. It's like an off-brand Legos. It was of Doe Campbell Stadium. That's like what the set is.
So, but what company?
And I gotta.
Whoever it is, give us free stuff.
It's like
their CEO is going to be on the podcast next episode.
It's like BRXLZ, something like Brixel. I don't know, but we should insert a picture actually, like onto the screen now. These pieces, I have to use a tweezer to pick up and put down some of these pieces. They're like the size. I mean, they're like the size of like this pen tip. That's how.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. But
new name for the podcast.
Next week, just the tip, episode 1.
But yeah, so I've been.
But I
building
love that though. Like growing up, I used to do the Knex. I don't know if you guys remember. Was it Knex?
Knex, yeah.
Knex.
So it's Knex, and there was also Playmobil. Do you guys remember like the Playmobil Center?
No.
Yes, I do.
My parents used to take us there. I don't remember where it is or what it is or if it doesn't exist anymore. If anyone's listening to this podcast and used to work for Playmobil, please call us because we want to talk to you.
We're desperate for a sponsor. Anyone would mention that's like any company. Yeah, we're like, please help us out. Like, please come on the podcast.
And you'll see during the break. And my thing is, I think both of these guys will let you know that I probably eat like the weirdest stuff out of anybody here. I've got these Wendy's Baconator Pringles here, which combines one of my favorite chips, Pringles, with one of my favorite places, Wendy's, and Baconator. Delicious. By the way, Wendy's, give us free stuff, please. But these things, they're not bad. Like, they actually taste like a Baconator, right? You had one before we started.
It's been a while since I've had a Baconator, but I vouch for that. It's actually pretty good. I don't know how they get the flavor to get. How is it so accurate?
Oh, you know, that's interesting. You know, V, we actually graduated with somebody at UF who's a good friend of mine that is actually one of the engineers for Frito-Lay that, like, creates flavorings.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so last time I was in Dallas, I spoke to her about it, but, like, the engineering that goes into making these chip flavors is, like, beyond anything that we can even comprehend. It's not just, like, you throw a bunch of spices in there. There are legit formulas that go into it. Can you imagine?
I want to know what, like, because that flavor, you know, in probably, a month or two, it's gone and then it's gone forever. Like, what, do they just throw like, what are all these recipe graveyard? Where is this, you know, why can't they just publish it when it's off the market, off the shelf?
That's another interesting thing because I think the three of us sitting at this table, probably the one sponsor that we would love to have is Taco Bell. And I've been trying to get into Taco Bell's test kitchen for years.
Live Moss.
Fourth meal. When I visit my grandma out on the West Coast in California, sometimes we'll drive up to LA depending on what we're doing, and that test kitchen is in Irvine. But unless you're a social media influencer, by the way, the real reason we started the podcast is so we could be influencers and get into this test kitchen.
Right.
But wouldn't it be fun to just jump in there and just create some kind of concoction of your own to the point where Taco Bell takes a look at it and says, "Hey, you're a genius. Why don't we just let you create more Taco Bell menu items?" That's a dream for me.
I agree. I don't know if you guys seen the Conan O'Brien snippet of him actually visiting the Taco Bell.
I love it. It's a great YouTube video.
Yeah. You guys have to check that out because it was amazing. And probably a dream trip for us as well.
Favorite Taco Bell item? Go.
Ever or right now? I guess it's the same.
Just answer the question.
Breakfast Crunchwrap Supreme.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. You went off the chart there. I wasn't expecting that one. How about you?
Okay, right now it's the grilled cheese burrito.
That wasn't bad. I thought that
I
was
think
pretty
it
good.
was the best thing they've ever
I almost
made.
got one actually on the way here, but
Oh, I thought you were ready.
Post podcast.
Cheesy gordita crunch 1A, chicken burrito 1B for sure. If it's like 8 p.m. and I've had a rough day at work, I'm like leaving the office. Man, that chicken burrito is like the best medicine, and you gotta get it with a Baja Blast, right?
Baja Blast.
Does anyone go to Taco Bell and not get Baja Blast?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you get?
No drink.
No drink.
There's no time. You don't need a drink. It just.
What if you get thirsty?
So if I'm dining in, I'll get Baja Blast. If I'm ordering through the drive-thru, I won't get Baja Blast. I'll just get a water cup or just go with my food. I
gotta get Baja Blast every time. I see Frankie in the background. He's nodding. I think he agrees with me.
No, he takes Baja Blast with his cereal if he had to.
Yes.
Was Baja Blast Zero for me? It was a total game changer, and I think we'll be in reruns if you follow me on Instagram. But when I found out that they made the zero sugar version of Baja Blast, that changed everything for me because I had no problem with. Normally, I would just say get a water, like eat clean, but with zero sugar Baja Blast, I was all in from day one.
Well, have you guys been to the Cantina?
I have.
In Vegas. I don't know if it's.
There's one in Vegas, there's one in Phoenix, and there's one in Fort Lauderdale too.
Yeah.
I need to get out to the one in Phoenix. I've never been to Vegas, but I've been to the one in Fort Lauderdale.
Post-COVID?
Yeah.
First trip post-COVID?
Yeah.
Have any of you guys had it? Like the
T-Bell party.
alcohol
No, well,
Baja Blast?
I can't remember, and
Frankie
that
has.
sounds more fun than it actually is. I legit just can't remember.
Frankie
whether I had
has
one.
for sure. I know that.
Very
What do you think?
It's very good. You can choose from vodka, rum, or tequila, and then they just mix it like with the freeze.
See, that can be dangerous though,
Tell me.
because if you have it a lot and you have a bad experience, like blackout, you never will want to drink Baja Blast again, maybe, because.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's going to need Baja Blast are all these Major League Baseball players that are out here doing spring training and playing inter-squad games in the middle of the summer. I love this summer camp idea, and part of me thought, why don't we just do this where it's 2 weeks of inter-squad games and 2 weeks of per se spring training where they're all down here. But the problem with that is if everybody goes back to their home city, there's weather considerations because we're playing in February and March. There are a lot of places up north where it's going to snow, so I think that just ended up going out the window.
Yeah, what they have 3 weeks for intra-squad and like workouts and stuff, and they're going right into. I like that. Just go right into it.
I agree.
These guys have been supposedly training. During quarantine, they got a couple weeks of playing against each other, and let's get the season going already. We've waited long enough.
Hell, I'm ready, and I've been ready for an extremely long time.
Jay was having a tough time.
I've been getting into the KBO. I've been doing the Korean baseball thing, so I'm a big NC Dinos fan at this point too.
Wait, so back to our actual.
Doosan Bear is also not terrible.
What have you been doing in COVID?
Oh man, I've discovered exercise. I've discovered running. I've discovered health. HELTH. Man, I've watched a lot of old movies. I watched Game Night with Jason Bateman. Not terrible.
I need to watch that.
I watched Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Not bad. But it's funny. Like the production quality of movies in the '80s. Look, I'll tell you what. Watch Avatar and then watch Trading Places, and you'll be amazed at like how far we've come in terms of making movies. But I've recorded Major League, I've recorded Major League 2. And speaking of which, I think the Indians might be a team that surprises us this year. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but this season seems to be the most wide open one that we've ever had, just given the short sample size of a 60-game season. Is there anybody that's on your guys' radar in particular, or is it a situation where you're just going to lay back and watch it happen?
I think the New York Yankees are going to win it all.
Shocker.
No bias for the viewers out there.
It's tough because, everyone's schedule, it's going to be like predominantly playing guys in your division. So I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be one of these teams. Like, I think the AL East and the NL East are going to beat up on each other. I think it's going to be a team out of, I don't know. Yeah, I can see the Central's pretty weak.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are just gonna
Yeah, they're going
What
to.
are the
crush the
matchups?
rest of the West region.
are the matchups different?
My
Like,
understanding
the
it's
normal-
roughly split up into regions where the
Okay.
the West Coast teams will play the West Coast teams regardless of league. Same with
Yeah.
the Central and East.
Yeah.
So
But
they
you
kind
play
of
in
like,
your division, like, at least half your games, I think.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a lot of Subway Series games. We're going to get a lot
Great.
of Mets Red Sox games. We'll get
Phillies.
your normal Yankees Red Sox. They'll be playing the Phillies.
Orioles.
And the problem is like the East teams, they're loaded at the top. Think about how many good teams there are. The Braves are a playoff team. The Phillies barely missed the playoffs. The Mets barely missed the playoffs. The Red Sox are a good team. The Nationals are the World Series champions.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the East, I mean, do the Orioles win a game this year? Do they look into
I think the Orioles.
60 game?
The Orioles might make the playoffs.
No.
You
way.
never know what's going to happen in a
That's
60-game
true.
sample.
That's
Anybody
true.
can get hot.
No way.
But you never know what baseball is. It's a game of momentum. So you
Yeah,
know,
that's
hit or
right.
miss.
You win your first 5 games of the season. If you're doing a sprint run towards the end, you never know what's going to happen. I think there are going to be a lot of good teams that when people look back when the season ends, they'll say there are a lot of teams that if you look at them on paper, they missed the playoffs, but maybe they shouldn't have.
Do you put an asterisk next to whoever wins?
Oh.
I think you have to. I think you have to just because it's so short. And think about it this way. If the Angels make the playoffs and Mike Trout gets coronavirus, it's not like really the Angels anymore, right? Because he means so much to that team. And it's very similar, in a very similar vein to the NBA, where if they lose one guy,
Yeah.
baseball's a little bit different in that, it's the next man up and you have a bigger roster, but individual players really make a difference. And if you have one guy that has to self-isolate during the World Series or something like that, it's gonna have an impact.
So on that topic, are the MLB players getting tested every day like the NBA players are doing?
I don't think it's every day.
I don't know what
I
the
thought it
procedure
was.
is. I think it might be every other day.
Okay.
A lot of the teams have been complaining that their test results haven't come back, so they've had to cancel practice for a few days just because the states that they're in
beginning
can't.
of it, I think. Like when they first started back up, I guess. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the testing center got backed up, where they send the test samples to, or if I think it was July 4th weekend, wasn't it? And they said the holiday weekend messed stuff up with the delivery of getting it there and then the results. But I haven't really.
It's a lot of work.
Since,
Every day or even every other day. Think about how many test kits there are.
Yeah. But
Look.
I mean, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need testing.
Yeah,
And,
if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it safely. Otherwise, you just gotta can the season. I think it's as simple as that. Speaking of cans, I think Pablo Sandoval has been drinking a lot of cans of soda and beer, whatever.
He easily put on the quarantine 50, not 50.
We're gonna put up
50.
we're gonna put up this picture when we put the episode 1 on YouTube. But my goodness,
He was big, and then he actually lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
now
he
he
was
gained
big,
it back.
and then he lost weight, and then I feel like he got big again, but not this. This is
I haven't seen the
Bartolo
picture, so even I'm
Cologne. This might even be surpassing Bartolo Cologne.
dude, even Bart's get a Bowflex, bro.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, speaking of guys showing up to camp a little heavy, you saw that they moved Vlad Guerrero Jr. permanently to first base.
Vlad goes to first. He was looking a little pudgy. It's always interesting watching
Pudgy?
the MLS come back. You see a lot of guys that are
But
overweight too. It's really funny watching. It's either 100 or 0. Some of these guys have really focused on their fitness, and others haven't so much. Real quick, we're up against the break. Who's winning the World Series?
Yankees.
I think the LA Dodgers are going to finally get it done with Mookie Betts.
Wait,
They
real
can't.
quick.
They'll never.
Let's say the Mets do win, and you said that there'd be an asterisk next to the winner.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you still celebrate the Mets winning the World Series?
Mets 2020 World Series champions. Are you going to pee in the pool? Coming up next. So I was talking about something during the break that I wanted to bring up here, and I learned that the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, DFW, if you've ever been through, it's a pretty big airport. You have to take one of those shuttles to go to different terminals and stuff. That DFW airport is bigger than Manhattan Island. You didn't believe me.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
So you-
Wait.
Well, hang on. Can someone look
Square
at?
footage.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone look up the square mileage of Manhattan Island, because I don't think Manhattan Island's all that big. I think there's just a lot of people there that would suggest that you think that it's bigger than it really is.
Well-
You could probably run up and down Manhattan Island and back
Okay, so I
in,
looked it
in
up
an
on Google.
afternoon.
I
What
looked
is
it
it?
up on Google.
Okay.
This is exactly what it says. At 17,207 acres, 27 square miles, DFW is larger than the island of Manhattan and is the second largest airport by land area.
What did you Google?
It's got-
DFW square footage?
Yes.
Atlanta's
I mean,
got to
makes
be number
sense, right?
one, right? Biggest airport in the country.
It's the busiest. I don't know if it's the biggest because
Or
I've been.
LAX, maybe?
Have you been to both? Have you guys been to both?
Atlanta or LAX is my guess.
Yeah.
Atlanta's big, but
We have Google.
I think LAX and Atlanta do a pretty good job of being compact. Like in terms of just like sprawl.
But Atlanta, you also gotta take a shuttle to all the different terminals.
Oh, this will actually surprise you guys.
Wait.
Wait,
Can we
okay,
guess
so
it?
can you guys guess? Alright, guess.
What
So
am I
it's
supposed
not
to guess?
it's not LAX
Did you
or
see it?
Atlanta.
No, I'm not looking.
Okay. What is, it's not DFW.
No,
What
is
are-
it LAX or
Wait a minute. What's
No,
the,
it's
what,
not.
what's the question
The biggest airport in the US.
in terms of square footage,
Footage, yeah.
square mileage?
Yeah.
It's a great question. Is it not? I'm guessing it's not something that you would think it would be. Hey, you want to pick up your FaceTime here?
No callers yet. We're not having callers yet.
Jason, you're on business on top.
Top.
Jason, go ahead. You
It's
go.
it's got to be an international airport. Has to be.
One where your big layovers would
Yeah.
be. You're thinking. I'm thinking either.
I don't think it's. I don't.
It
think
can't be
it's
LaGuardia.
O'Hare. You think it's O'Hare?
No. I'm gonna go DFW honestly.
No. He said it was second.
Yeah, definitely
Oh, okay.
not. It's
Okay.
not DFW.
Okay. I'll go LAX then.
No, he said it wasn't LAX or Atlanta.
Oh my
It
God.
wasn't any of them.
I'm already in the Hall of Fame of not listening.
So I
we did
should say it?
episode one of this
No,
podcast. Don't say it.
say the region of the country, like northeast, southeast,
Uh,
mid.
I'm gonna go
I'd
Phoenix.
say mid.
I'm gonna go Phoenix, Sky Harbor.
Mid to west, yep. Huh? No. it's
Mid
not.
to west, maybe. I haven't really been Vegas. Is Vegas a big airport?
I've never been to Vegas.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. Just say it.
No. It's Denver International Airport.
I've
Wow.
never been to Denver either.
What?
The largest airport in the U.S. spanning 135.69 kilometers
Holy shit.
squared.
Is that where you flew into? Or-
Yeah, I always fly into Denver to visit our good friend. Hopefully, will be a friend of the show very soon.
Yes. This is the way
hoping
to
to
get
have
him
him
in.
on.
This is the way to
Yeah,
get him
if you're listening to our podcast, come back, bud.
Yeah.
Miss you. But when we ended the last segment, my question was supposed to be, do you pee in the shower? I got excited and I said, do you pee in the pool? Both will apply. One thing that I've not necessarily been going out of my way to ask people, but it was a topic of conversation that came up late last month, because I found out that you save, I think, a couple of gallons if you just pee in the shower instead of actually like peeing in the toilet, flushing the toilet, and then getting into the shower. My theory is that, based on my very informal straw polling, is that 1 out of every 5 people does not pee in the shower, and the rest do. You guys are shower peers, right? I'm a shower peer.
Yes.
Yes.
Convenient.
Good for you're really saving the
Good
world,
for the
honestly.
Yeah.
And I honestly do it from an environmental perspective because, if I didn't, then if it made more sense to pee in the toilet, I would. But honestly, you're already in there. It doesn't make any sense to get out.
If you waited to get out, you'd have to stop the shower, dry off. It's just.
Logistically, logistically, by all accounts, just does not make any sense at all.
So people who actually don't pee in the shower, what's their logic on it? That it's like the bacteria.
They probably think the water maybe recycles and like they'll be, I don't know.
So I looked
That's
this
my
up.
guess.
I looked this up. The actual bacteria in your.
Are you on peeingintheshower.com?
No, it's helpline.com.
Okay.
But
Because I'm on peeingintheshower.com right now.
That's
oh,
what
are you
created.
actually? Okay. So what?
You just
Two
created.
different sites.
Via GoDaddy.
Sites.
Get the GoDaddy CEO on the show, please.
So what they're saying is the bacteria counts are relatively low in healthy urine, though they may be higher if you have a urinary tract infection. So
All right.
I'm clean, bro.
guessing, yeah, I'm
if you have a
guessing-
UTI, don't
yeah,
go in
if
the
you have a
shower.
UTI, don't go in the shower.
PSA, if you have a UTI, go get checked out by a doctor, please.
Yeah.
It's
But
mostly
if not,
water.
just pee in the shower.
Right, exactly. It's mostly water and electrolytes, and
Yeah.
most people would know that. But
Yeah.
I think it's just like one of those topics that people just think it's gross,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah. As long as your water goes down the drain right away,
Yes.
I would say peeing in the shower. Like if you're one of those showers, you know, like sometimes you get backed up if you shave or do whatever in the shower, and like you know, like the water collects at the bottom.
Right.
Then maybe I won't piss in the shower. But if it goes down and there's no water being built up,
Are you guys, let me ask you this, are you guys shaving your face in the shower? Because
No.
I'll shave my body
I
in
need
the
a mirror.
shower.
No.
I-
Yeah,
right.
body, yeah. Mirror. Face. No.
I was going to say, like, that would be
Question though, we should have a mirror in the shower.
Oh,
It would actually.
you know what? That's a great point. Well, the problem is it's going to get fogged up, right?
Fogged up real quick, and
Yeah,
and
but you can see a little bit.
there's gonna be water splashing on it if you're I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I would love to have a TV in the shower.
Now, if you're
Yes.
well, yeah,
Oh.
if you're shaving if you're just shaving everything off, like no beard, no nothing, then I can see it in the shower. But if you're trying to line it up or like trim it,
Oh no.
you kind of need a mirror.
No, I mean the TV in the shower is good because there are a lot of times where I take my phone into the shower and just watch like.
Do you want to?
Never,
Yeah.
Never
I just-
done that.
Never.
Never took my phone.
Okay, so
or
it's
any
great.
electronic-
Hang on.
Wait. How long are your showers average? Like on average?
I'll play it. Here's what I do, and I don't know if anyone else does this, or maybe I'm just a weirdo. I will play
You're a
one.
weirdo.
Oh yeah, well that's true regardless of whether or not what I do in the shower. Anyway, I will go on Spotify, play one song, and maybe by the time that song is done, that gives me a cue that I need to start finishing up. So usually,
Yeah,
whenever the
that's
second song plays, that means it's time for me to get out. So all in total, about 6 to 7 minutes, I
I'd
think.
say 5 to 10 minutes for me.
Yeah, I'm around the same.
You ever take a shower and it's just one of those showers where like you're done like washing off and you just sit down and just let the water. Like,
It's nice. It's
you're just sitting,
therapeutic.
like you're contemplating. You're just
Yes.
thinking.
That's where shower thoughts come from.
Yeah.
Do you have your best ideas in the shower? Like sometimes I just caught like breakthroughs in the shower from thinking about what to argue at hearing. And I'm just like, wait a minute, this is what I can tell the judge.
There's a Twitter account called Shower Thoughts, which I follow.
Is it? Hang on, let me.
Yes. I love it because there are some actual good ones.
I'm gonna read some of the top tweets from. What is it? Is it supposed to be at Shower Thoughts?
Yeah, it's just Shower Thoughts.
Hang
I would
on.
argue that I would say I get my best thoughts like you ever go on like for you Shane like driving to work like just shut the radio off and just drive silently and you're just thinking. That's where I do a lot of my thinking.
For me, it's like
This is
after
a
my
good
first
one.
cup of coffee in the morning.
The reason adults aren't picky eaters is because they buy food that they like to eat. That's a good point.
Yeah. No, there's some good ones in there. Some of them I scratch my head for sure, but
I like that.
there are some really good ones in there.
I like this one. This one is probably one of the more popular ones. That moment between birth and death is so awkward.
Wow.
Shower Thoughts.
So here's one of the thoughts that I had when you were talking about shower thoughts is if we have Apple CarPlay, can we just hurry up and get Apple Shower Play at this point? Like that needs to be a thing that we all would like to have because I feel like we're. Do you listen to music when you shower sometimes?
Oh, 100%.
You play a song in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I didn't always do, and I'm kind of a music Luddite. I don't know, too much about, all that shit that goes on. But, for me, I like to listen to, something, because otherwise you're just like standing there in your own filth and, just underneath the water fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. I don't know about Ben. Do you listen to music?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You can be so...
Like, I don't think I can ever go into a shower unless
Yeah.
I'm at a guest, like somebody else's house, and then like taking a shower.
Yeah.
You ever, I know like a couple instances, like if you're, really it was like freshman year in college, like we had community bathrooms, you'd bring your phone and like play music, and if you did like Spotify and it was on like a random playlist and it wasn't yours, right, and you pick the song you want and it's like, that's the first song that's good, and then it's like Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Some random song, you want to get out of the shower to skip,
Well,
but you're like
college-
letting it ride. You're just like, please, like I swear
I
this
let
is
it
not
ride, I
my
don't
play.
care.
Yeah, I mean, at this point I don't either, but it's always that awkward. Like, I swear this isn't my song. Like, I didn't request this.
Songs from 2010 were so funny, because then you just get you get 50 Cent, and then you just get California Girls, they're unforgettable. That song still slaps, to be honest with you. Snoop's part, pretty good.
Some bangers.
I mean, it still plays to this day.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Firework.
It's been 10 years and it still plays
Yeah.
a lot to this day. Firework, yeah. And some of these producers are on point. I mean, songs been playing for literally 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But the thing, and just getting back to the Apple shower play, think about how useful that would be if, Siri will read your text while you're in the shower. You don't necessarily have to risk getting your phone. Have you guys ever done this? Like, you wanted to text somebody, so you put your phone in a plastic bag and you took it in the shower and you start to send a text message?
All the phones.
Okay, that's me. I've done it before. Are they really?
I've never even
Wait.
thought about bringing my phone in the shower. You guys, I just leave it on the counter next to the shower and play
Mine's
the
in the
music.
water. Like,
I mean, I do that, but I would love the luxury of being able to bring my phone into the shower.
Apple, I'm testing
No.
your
The
products.
shower's nice.
Tim Cook, next episode.
The shower's nice though,
Tim
because
Apple.
Tim
it's like
Apple.
5 to 10 minutes a day where you don't have to worry about checking your phone. Like, you're just kind of you're in your own world.
Right.
I don't want to bring my phone. It's like the same with the gym. Like, you ever put your phone on airplane mode,
No.
go into the gym and just listen to music? Like, don't get calls, don't get texts.
That's an interesting thought, but I'm
I
so
always
neurotic.
do that.
I love to have my emails open, because I just
Yeah, I mean, it's
you
different.
never know who's gonna reach out to you, and
It's different now that we're working,
Yeah.
but in college, I would leave my phone in my dorm room and go to the gym with my iPad.
Yeah, I would do the same.
I need to start doing that. I think America and just the world in general has become way too addicted to our smartphones, and we just need to figure out a way to unplug and relax a little bit.
That's another quarantine, I guess, negative you could call it. Is you ever get those updates? It's screen time this week, and just
Ooh,
ever since quarantine
yeah.
hit, it's just gone up. And
Yours
it's
is-
Well, what
Yours
else
is
is
skyrocketing, huh?
15 hours a day.
Are you
It's
worried?
I mean, sometimes I see the numbers and I'm like, all right, I gotta lay off my phone a little bit this week, because I think I hit 10 hours. That was probably my max.
I've
10
been-
hours.
15. I've had 15 before.
15 means as soon as you wake up, you're on your phone
I am.
until you go to sleep.
I have.
Yeah.
A day? Yeah,
Well,
that's
I mean now I have a company, so
Yeah.
it's different.
And
from-
I mean, you're working from home.
And
so-
I have a corporate job, and so it's we have two companies.
Yeah,
you
I can
have
see
to be
that.
you are wearing a couple different hats these
But-
days, huh?
Yeah.
That would-
Hopefully, transitions into only one
Yeah.
hat. You know what I mean?
But-
Absolutely. I mean, that's the goal, being your
Yeah.
own boss, right?
That's the perfect.
More 10 a.m. tea times, huh?
Exactly.
That's the perfect reason, though, why you shouldn't want to bring your phone in the shower, because that gives you those 10 minutes a day where you don't have to worry about emails or whatever.
So, I think we've had a pretty productive podcast here, guys. Episode 1, still trying to find our voice, but I think we did a good job. Guys, I'll leave you with it. Quick lightning round. We're gonna do final thoughts. Give me 10 seconds on what you want in next episode.
Oh, next episode. Is college necessary to become successful?
Am I answering that, or am I just saying?
No, you're going.
I don't care. Michael Jordan's coming on next podcast.
No, college.